Hello and welcome to Pearl Magazine. Almost everyone has experienced grief, loneliness, or depression at some point in their lives. And while traditional therapy can offer relief, a new practice known as expressive arts therapy has emerged in Hong Kong. People are discovering the healing power of art. Gabby Hsu spoke with a few therapists to find out how visual arts, drama, cinema, music, and dance can heal.
Daddy 話係我嚟嘅。Daddy 啱啱出咗院，然之後我做完功課，跟住 Daddy 陪我整。
Daddy 咧每次化療與化療之間咧會
He was more energetic between the two chemotherapies.
佢就會同小朋友一齊有少少親子
He would do
時間啦
homework and play Lego with our child.
就係佢哋一齊自己
They
創作
created
咁
this
樣
together, and
佢
he
就話
said it only has one ear.
耳仔嘅。
Grace's husband is an avid fan of these popular Danish plastic bricks. Before he died of a rare cancer last October, he owned over tens of thousands of pieces of Lego.
即係2019年咧就係發病。
He was diagnosed in 2019. Normally, patients only have 6 months to live, but he tried very hard and kept seeing doctors.
都俾我哋嘅。
We even got to travel to Japan later. Then by October 2021, when Belle was in her 3rd year, he passed away.
佢先走咯。當時咧，先生都應該
During that period, my husband might die anytime.
覺得如果
We thought if we can draw his hand,
或者畫咗佢嘅手，
we can leave something behind.
少少嘢咁樣。
When Grace talked to me about her husband's situation in hospital, I think maybe good that we can do art together when her husband is still alive. So I brought the art material to the ward.
That was the first time the To family tried art therapy with Fiona.
佢爸爸就係我隻手，咁跟住我哋咧就
We outlined his hand and then followed Fiona's guidance.
逐步跟住 Fiona 嘅指示去做咯。佢隻手曾經做過好多唔同嘅嘢，無論
His hand did lots of things,
做砌 Lego 又好，佢以前翻
playing Lego, sorting data in his work.
隻手好靈活咁去打啲資料，都係需要用隻手咯。
2 days after this, Mr. To died. After he died, Grace struggled to move on.
先生走咗之後咧，一路我自己啲情緒都
After my husband's death, I have been feeling sorrow and don't know how to move forward
亦都唔知點樣幫
or how to help my kid to deal with this. She feels so sad too.
好傷心。有一次佢喺草地嗰度跑步
Once
咁
Belle
佢
was
跑步嘅
racing with her
時候
friends and
已經係
lost.
同小
She
朋友
screamed.
跟住都跑得慢咗，咁跟住輸咗，然後咧佢就
She couldn't calm down for 20 minutes.
係啊，咁係成20分鐘啲情緒都平復唔到嘅。
Grace called Fiona and decided to start regular arts therapy sessions for both of them.
I always think about what we will do when we see Fiona this time.
係啊，咁但係咧做嗰啲嘢
And my
就係
mood
會
would then
個
become
心情會
better.
好啲啦，係啊
It would
會
improve.
可以得到改善
Everything
會
gradually
好
got
一啲
better.
咁樣。佢又冇
She
叫
didn't
我哋
ask
咁
us
樣
to
畫
draw my
畫
husband.
嘅，咁但
We
係
felt free to create what we wanted, but usually with some sort of theme.
咁樣咯。
Expressive art therapy is an integrated use of art form that people can use it for express themselves, to communicate, to have dialogue with self and others.
Belle loves drawing, so they always choose this form of visual art.
In the creative process, they can use color, images, sound, or simple gesture to tell their story. And also in the process, you can just ventilate your emotion in a creative way, in a socially acceptable way. Like Yilok, when she came, we also ask her, do you have like anger in you? And then she said, no, I do not have angry feeling. I'm okay. But in her drawing, you can see she actually had anger and also sadness. She's sometimes query about why God took away her father. And she also wants father with her. But it's hard to tell in words. But in her paintings, she can express and she can tell.
From Belle's artwork, Grace discovered that her daughter wants to be an oncologist.
Before, she didn't say. She told me when we were drawing self-portraits at Fiona's place. She said she wanted to be an oncologist in the hospital where her father stayed.
你都睇到自己有轉變咧，就係以前就係丈夫安排晒一切嘅嘢，其實你而家都慢慢去學，去兼顧佢做嘅嘢，都可以喺呢個作品上邊再去睇下啊，我其實自己有啲咩優點咧。
In today's session, the theme is Finding My Strengths After Father's Death. Grace decides to touch up her self-portrait from before. Last time, they didn't have the right color. Fiona says that while you can't change the past, you can make changes in your art. Expressive arts therapy was founded in the US in 1970, but in Hong Kong, it's still new.
In 2009, only one, but now 80 professional members.
Fiona is the first registered expressive arts therapist in Hong Kong. She used to work as a social worker in a hospital. Back then, she tried to help patients through art. A friend from Canada told her that what she was doing was called art therapy.
I say, what is art therapy? And she say, it's a profession use art integrate with psychotherapy. And then I say, oh, that is what I want to do.
After completing her studies in the US, Fiona returned to Hong Kong and started lobbying various universities to develop arts therapy. In 2013, the University of Hong Kong introduced a master's program from which many expressive arts therapists graduated. Kit is one of them. She works for an NGO providing services for underprivileged families, particularly single mothers. Aside from food assistance, they also need emotional support.
Some of the family we encounter, they do have like a lot of emotional disorder. Some of them, they may try to commit suicide by themselves. Some of them may even like turn the anger towards their families. We provide them free therapy sessions and courses. It's all donated by the donors from our charity foundations. And then this kind of underprivileged family in crisis who can receive services for free.
Yip is a single mother from the mainland. After getting divorced from her husband, she's raising her two children alone and lives in this subdivided flat in Kwai Fong, paying $6,800 a month.
I couldn't sleep the whole day, and I had a bad temper, irritated and anxious. Even when I was walking down the street with my kids, I was terrified that the building would collapse. I didn't have any support here. I've been spending 24 hours taking care of two sons for several years. A lot of pressure. There's no space for myself.
Yip says she went to see many doctors, using money earned from her part-time job. She was finally diagnosed with depression.
We'll all encounter emotional problems, some stages in our life. And sometimes we can cope with it and get over it. But for some people, they may not be able to get over it. The problem may be persistent. If the feeling persisted for, say, 2 weeks or a month, then it might be indications that there could be a mental illness, and it is best to seek professional help.
Jerry To says expressive arts therapy could be a complement to conventional therapy.
Usually I would encourage them to try new things. So if they find the particular expressive art activity to be interesting, they could enjoy the process and they could use it to express themselves, then it would be a good thing to try.
After taking antidepressants, Yip still couldn't sleep well. The hospital recommended she try arts therapy. Today is her 10th session with Kit.
好，咁我哋陣間會有啲角色扮演啦，可能你會扮下哥哥、扮下細佬，或者扮下你自己個過程咯。
2 years ago, Yip's youngest son was diagnosed with autism. She says she wanted to get rid of her kids at that time. She had seen a news story about a mother in a similar situation.
The news a few days ago reported that a single mother, the missing husband, and then the single mother was tried to kill her son, and the son died in this traumatic event because the mother is very suffering from taking care of the so many babies, so many kids, and they live in a very difficult situation without any financial support. 哥哥，你有冇搞錯啊？咁樣鬧細佬，你唔應該啊你。
Kit says drama therapy can help Yip because she is expressive, even though Yip was shy and afraid to tell her story in the beginning.
In the role play, she can express herself very well in the drama form, and also her emotions can be released during the process, and there is a transformation afterwards. When you see that she's from a very angry state, and then she has self-guilt, and then we transform the self-guilt into a more caring support. She can empathize with her son. Oh, actually, you want love. Then as a mother, I can give you love, right?
Yip says arts therapy has helped her sleep better and her mood has improved.
I
became relaxed after the therapy. For example, before, I was concerned about my son's mistakes, or I couldn't get enough rest. But now I can be more empathetic and think my kids are cute.
When we come back, stress relief via dance, music, and movies. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. Aside from art and drama, people can use dance, music, and even movies to help them through their emotional crises or help them with their personal growth. Gabby Shu talks to therapists and their patients to find out how it works. Kaylee suffers from insomnia. In 2019, she moved to the city to pursue her master's degree. 6 months ago, she switched from the media to the finance industry.
I'm suffering from my job. I feel so nervous about the next day when it is Sunday, and I will really anxious about the next day when I go to work on Monday.
She says city life also stresses her out.
I was a person who loves traveling and loves exploring all kinds of different things before, but now I feel very tired of living here. Actually, just yesterday I cried because I made a decision for my job, but I find out that I just cannot go some developed countries just for traveling because I need a certificate from my company, but if I quit my job, I just cannot get it.
Kaylee says she spends a lot of time dealing with her emotional problems. Today, she is going to try cinema therapy, a type of visual arts therapy.
Cinema therapy is a kind of therapeutic method. Main is letting the client to have mental therapy by watching a movie. And then the cinema therapist should actually to pick up the right cinema for the specific clients, especially on her or his mental illness or need.
Sibel has been teaching cinema therapy in universities. He says the therapy is done in 6 steps.
The first step is understanding the client by drawing and by self-narrative story. The second step is to restate the mental scenario of the client. And then the first step is to pick up the right cinema. The fourth step is try to relay the message of the film content to the client situation. The 5th part is try to let the client express her feelings. And the final part is to recommend some future films as a kind of medicine for the client to watch.
I'm just 6 feet over my kayak on a lake.
Today, he recommends 2 movies to Kaylee.
These 2 movies also talking about some people have a dilemma between their job, their identity, losing their job, losing their passion about their life, and then how to recap, to reboot their life passion in another way.
Sibel says a quality movie has a natural healing effect.
In storytelling, it's a kind of hero journey process. People would feel better after watching the movie, but people seldom have a consciousness in cinema therapy knowledge. He will have a very solid framework to explain why people will be healed after watching a movie. If the cinema therapy choose the wrong film, so it's like the doctor prescribe the wrong medicine for the patient, it will totally wrong.
Kaylee watched the movie Sibel recommended to her and said it gave her consolation. Michelle Chan is one of 14 therapists at the Dance Movement Therapy Association in Hong Kong. She recalls a client who previously reached out to her.
She is a 20-ish year old lady. She reached out to me because she feels like very sensitive to her emotions. Even though when she walked on the street, she felt the urge she have to cry. She come and see me and she's saying that, wow, actually, in her daily life, expressing emotion is not allowed and is not accepted. But in here, the space of dance movement therapy, she finds that her emotion is finally being heard.
Michelle says dance therapists believe that by changing the body, we can change our psychological status. Besides individuals, therapists also work with groups. Michelle says the crucial thing is to establish a safe environment with clients.
The first time that I met the student at St. James, I tried to find what their favorite is. For example, they love listening to Jay Chou, and then in the section, he will listen to Jay Chou, and one of the students, he watched the video of playing bowling in the computer, and then I thought, okay, if this is his interest, can I bring this activity into the room?
St. James is a school for people with special needs.
They're intellectually disabled, but they have no problem joining the therapy. Besides following their tutor in the therapy sessions, they can participate more and express a lot.
I'm happy to be taught by a teacher. She said I behaved well.
I'm not teaching dance. What is good, what is wrong, I am the facilitator of the sections. It's not related to the skill level, but it's more like expression level. How I see them to contribute their ideas.
Psychologist Jerry To says genetics and environmental factors contribute to mental illness.
If you suffered some physical illness or trauma that affected your neurological system, or maybe if there is a history of substance use, drug abuse, that could also sometimes contribute to the development of mental illness.
Iris and IU both suffer from cancer. This affected their mental state.
I realized that it is breast cancer. Oh my God, how come I will have such, what I can say, so drastic pain? Within these 3 years, I really put myself in imprisonment. I tried to put myself in jail. I scolded myself and I found what's happening, what's wrong with me. And because of this, I have depression as well. I just can't face the reality. And I did try to commit suicide as well.
They have been doing arts therapy with Fiona for several years. They say these therapies have helped a lot, especially the music therapy.
Really the music, especially one of the boat. Whenever they, immediately I will find myself calm down. It seems that something tried to precipitate, and then it circulate, the sound surround. And at that time you'll find that, wow, I come back home.
Today, a center built by 4 Hong Kong U graduates in 2016 has organized a community art activity. Parents and kids are encouraged to use arts to interact with each other and express themselves.
Without any judgment or without any standard. So it's just a simple expression of art with body, with music, with visual art.
我聽到佢哋係音樂治療啊嘛，咁所以覺得對小朋友個發展幾好。
因為小朋友仲係好細個啦，咁有時佢未必識用言語去表達佢自己嘅感受，咁有時可能佢透過佢自己嘅作品啊，其他嘅方式去表達佢自己咯。
It's different from the work that we usually do in the clinical setting, but it is still very important to deliver the message to the public that we can actually use art in a different way. Art itself already have some healing effects, and also it provides a platform for people to connect with each other.
Keith says while many people understand therapies are offered to both individuals and groups, arts therapy can also be used at the community level. He co-founded the center with Janet and Zoe.
Actually, we are from different backgrounds. For me, it's an artist and designer before.
And I actually work with kids with special needs and provide like behavioral therapy service for them.
And I'm a social worker working in the elderly field.
In recent years, the center has received more funding, allowing them to provide free services. Since 2019, they've gotten more clients, particularly in May and June of this year.
We can observe that when the social have some obvious changes that will affect people's emotion, and more requests will come to our center.
They say they are dedicated to helping those in need through the arts.
We always try to categorize emotions, like by is it positive or negative, or right or wrong. But from our understanding, we see emotion is like a neutral thing that it just happened on us. And instead of being afraid of having emotions, we actually want to encourage our participant to embrace their emotion. We always have some standard or mindset that using arts is we have to have some skills. In fact, we actually believe that we all have the ability to use arts to express ourselves in a safe way.
That's our show this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.